Remember, Mary and Joseph have to come to Bethlehem to be accounted for in the census. As you know, governors of all ages and of all creeds and colors, they have one thing in common. They are never satisfied with the taxes they collect. They may even say, read my lips, but then they'll do something else. And so the same goes for Augustus Caesar, who wanted everyone to be accounted for, so as to pay their taxes properly, and to make sure that everyone will be accounted. So he had to go to the place of origin of the family. We read in the Gospels that both Mary and Joseph are, one way or another, descendants of the lineage of the family of David, and the family of David originates in Bethlehem. So that's why they come here to be accounted for. And in those days, Bethlehem was just a small little village, and probably it had just one inn and no more. That would be crowded with people that came for the same reason, people who could afford to pay more. And Joseph is only a carpenter, and probably a poor one too. So how could he afford to pay? Or maybe, as it says, there was no room in the inn. But on the other hand, it was too cold. And you notice how cool are the nights now. It's Christmas time or winter time, the nights are real cold. So how could they spend the night otherwise, like under a tree or whatever? So they had no choice but look for the next best thing, warm, a place to stay in, maybe dry, because it could have been raining, it could have been even snowing. Sometimes it snows that early, like in middle or second half of December. We even have snow sometimes up here. And so they have to look for shelter, and the only place they can find shelter is in the barn of the inn. So what we have to imagine is that right above us was the inn itself. This place originally, which was by the way much larger originally, was the quarry from which they took the stones for building the inn. And so the quarry becomes later the place of storage, or the barn, where they would have stored the luggage, the merchandise of the people in the inn, and also the animals of those people. And so, not having another choice, being too cold to be out there, Mary and Joseph come the night in the barn, and then when Mary feels that the time is up, she goes to the innermost part of the place. In other words, any woman coming down here should be, kind of surprised. How come that this is the place? What woman would give birth in the trough? Look, would have been very cold over here. Wrong. The door of this entrance are not original. See? This is actually the end of the place. The entrance was from over there, and then Mary, there were probably more people there. So she wouldn't like to make a spectacle of her giving birth, and besides, she is looking for the warmest place, and so this is why she would retreat from the entrance to the interior over here. And so down here we have two things or two places. We have here this star that shows the actual birthplace. Now again, don't think like sometimes people think, or they say, oh, poor Mary had to crawl under there. Wrong, it wasn't like this. Much later, the place was turned into like a little chapel with a little, as you see over here, altar and so. So this is the birthplace, but after the child was born, they needed a little crib in which to put him in, right? So that was the manger down there. So remember, here we have two different things that we remember. The birthplace and the manger. Only that this is not a real manger. The real manger was borrowed by the Crusaders, but they just forgot to bring it back. So every Rome, you can see it in Rome, that's where it is.
Jesus lay down his sweet